Welcome back. All right, so 11 games tonight, and unlike other nights where you have the East Coast games that are all done early, and they can be really close, and it can be just really hard to keep up with everything that's going on tonight. There was some really lopsided results, and so as a result of that, it made it a lot easier for me to follow along what was going on with the games that were, well, close. So we'll start off with not close, Calgary and Buffalo. Jacob Markstrom continues to have an amazing season for the Calgary Flames. That being said, the balloon that was going straight up for Tokarski kind of gets deflated a bit tonight. We'll see if he gets that back together. I don't really put it on him. I think the Flames are just really good offensively. So, early chances for the Flames. The shots were 7-2 for Calgary at 7 minutes. In most games that Calgary ends up winning, they start off very quickly. They're getting all the early chances. They get their confidence up. In the games where they start out slowly, we don't see that as much. Lewis had a one time that was saved, and then just past the halfway mark, Johnny Gaudreau scores from Tkachuk and Tanev at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Sabres then press, Markstrom saves, Tokarski then denies Mangiapane. It's only 1-0 after one. But at 1:42 of the second, it's Mangiapane with his 10th on the road. That's tied for the lead in the NHL. He scores from Tanev and Shillington. So Tanev with a couple of helpers tonight. And Tokarski nearly saved that one. That was very close, right off the tip of the glove and into the net. Sabres then press at 4 minutes. Goodbranson had a shot that was saved and held. The Sabres get a power play. That was a no. Flames get their turn on the power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Asplund. And then I think this was just right after it expired. Tkachuk scores from Gaudreau and Lindholm at 13:58. And then Mangiapane a minute and 1 second later, he gets his 11th, which now leads the NHL in road goals from Backlund and Zadorov at 14:59. I think that's his 12th overall, so he's only got one goal at home. But yeah, so it's 3-0. Flames then get a power play, and they score on it. So at 15:35, they make it 5-0. Within, a minute and a half, a little over a minute and a half, they take a 2-0 game and make it a 5-0 laugher, and it's Gaudreau from Monahan and Tkachuk that does it. Sabres get a power play. That was a no. We go to the third period. The Flames, really, there's no doubt when it's 5-0, right? 4-1 are the shots for the Calgary Flames at 4 minutes. DAL-MIN had a shot that was blocked. Dubé had a rush chance defended. Sabres would press at 5.5 minutes. The shots were 7-4 in favor of Calgary at the half. Buffalo eventually leads in shots in the third, so that's something, but they don't get a goal. And your final score is 5-0 for Calgary. They go to 9-3-5. Buffalo drops to 7-7-2. Your three stars are Mangiapane, Gaudreau, and Markstrom. The shots are 14-8 Calgary in the first, 9-8 Calgary in the second, 11-10 Buffalo in the third. Final shots 33-27 for Calgary. Power plays, Calgary goes 1 for 2, Buffalo goes 0 for 2. The hits, 14-12 for Calgary. Markstrom saves all 27 shots. Tokarski saves 18 out of 23. Aaron Dell takes over in the third, and he saves all 10 shots he faced, so maybe he gets the start in the next game. All right, next up. Rangers. New York Rangers go in against Toronto. The last game was 2-1, so why not the same score in this one? It's Shesterkin versus Campbell, and this was a goaltending battle all the way, as would have been expected. Wide open two-way play early, and Riley scores from Simmons and Bunting at 3:41. So the Leafs get the early lead. The Rangers then get a power play. They not only didn't score on it, I don't think they had a shot on it. The shots were 3-1 for the Leafs at 8 minutes. The game goes a while without a shot. Gauthier then had a backhand that was saved, and the Rangers were getting opportunities while the Leafs were stuck on 3 shots. But they would fix that before the period was out. The Rangers got some more pressure. The Leafs were doing a good job of blocking shots in that first period. Second period, the shots are 3-0 for the Leafs at 4 minutes, so they come out fast in the second period. Trouba had a shot that was saved. The rebound's cleared. The Leafs get a power play, and they score on it. And at 10:59, it's Riley with the second of the game from Matthews. I think that's what they said was his 4th multi-goal game in his career. Ritchie had a rush chance. He fires wide. Gauthier had chances that were saved and held. And I mean, multiple chances for Gauthier in this game. He did well. He didn't get on the score sheet, but he did well. So it's 2-0 Toronto after 2. And there would be more notes, but I didn't really, I'm going through channel after channel here, and in the parts of the Toronto game I was watching, I just saw Toronto team was doing a pretty good job against the Rangers. Third period, the Leafs were dominant on the faceoffs going into the third. That would continue in the third as well. Kasha with a wraparound chance that was saved. Good early pressure for the Leafs. Shesterkin was the one keeping it close. And then Dryden Hunt scores his first goal in 31 NHL games from Strome and Kako. I should say not Kallio. Kako at 3:30. I'm tired, but I shouldn't be saying Kallio. That shouldn't be happening. Kako with the second assist. I think that's a 3-game point streak now for Kako. Pressed by the Rangers seeking the tie. Muzzin had a point shot blocked. Matthews ends up hitting the side of the net. Panarin had a break. That was defended and saved. So it was defended out, so he didn't get the best opportunity he could have, and then it saved as well. Muzzin had a shot that goes wide as the Leafs would press. Panarin to Fox nearly connects. Bunting hits a post on a rush opportunity. Bunting and Strome get kind of punchy. No call. Bunting dropped the gloves and started punching. No call. Nothing. Not even roughing. Zip. Nothing. And I think that's what broke the app. The NHL app wasn't working for a while tonight. I think that's what did it. I think it just broke it. Rangers press with 4 minutes left. Ritchie had a shot that deflected wide. Pressed by the Rangers again. Campbell making saves. Trouba's denied as the goaltender gets pulled. 36.1 seconds left. The Rangers call a timeout. And there was so much pressure by the Rangers. They were all around the net. And then Strome, he shot high right at the buzzer. So if that goes in, but it doesn't, so your final score is 2-1 for Toronto. They go to 12-5-1 with their 5th straight victory. The Rangers drop to 10-4-3. Your 3 stars are Riley, Campbell, and Hunt. That 4th line was pretty good for the Rangers tonight. The shots, 7-5 Rangers in the first, 12-7 in favor of Toronto in the second, 14-13 Rangers in the third. Final shots, 30-28 for Toronto. Power plays, the Rangers had 1, didn't score. Toronto had 1, and they did. The hits were 31-19 for the Rangers. Shesterkin saves 28 out of 30. Campbell saves 27 out of 28. Shesterkin played really well too. Without Shesterkin playing that well, this game doesn't end up being 2-1. It could have been 4 or 5-1. So, a pretty entertaining game. New Jersey. No, we'll talk about Pittsburgh. We'll do that. We'll talk about Pittsburgh, Montreal. This just I'm to the point where I don't know how I feel. Right? So people know I'm a Bruins fan. I don't like feeling bad for the Montreal Canadiens. It's just something. It's something in the DNA of a hockey fan that it's odd, and yet here I am, where I feel bad for Montreal, and I kind of feel bad for the fans right now. So it was Jari versus Primo, early press by the Penguins. Crosby gets his first of the year from Gensel and Rust at 3:36. The Habs tried to answer. The Habs get a power play. That was a no. The Penguins get a power play. And it was a lousy power play versus a bad penalty kill. And I'm pretty sure the Heinen goal was scored right after the power play ended. So that's kind of perfect. The penalty kill killed it technically. The power play didn't work technically, so it works out. And it's Heinen from Marino and Kapanen at 12:39. Heinen continues what's been a very good start for him. Danton Heinen fitting in very well in Pittsburgh. The Penguins press for another, and they get it, but they get it late. It's Gensel in the final minute from Rust and Letang at 19:30. And this is where you start hearing some boos from the crowd as the period ends out, and it's 3-0. So if fans are not happy, and speaking as somebody who's not too far from Vancouver, I think we know how that works. Second period, Penguins with an early turnover gives the Habs chances. The Habs then killed their own pressure. Pass back to the point, they missed it. Passes into each other's feet, that kind of thing. Primo saves on McGinn. Shots favored the Habs until... So I put the shots favored the Habs, and then Pittsburgh starts scoring again. Bluger from Aston Reese at 13:49. I don't know if... I can't prove they got a camera in here to look at my notes, but maybe. And then Matheson scores from Bluger at 16:12 on one that they said McGinn had tipped, but Matheson was given the goal. If they change that, that's fine. These aren't official scoring results. But it does make it 5-0. More booing from the fans as that crowd after that goal was scored. So why not start Fire Benning chants too? Why not? Go for it. Third period, post for Lekin and early. The Habs had the lead in shots again at 5 minutes, and I thought, you got to find just small rays of sunshine in a game that's this lopsided. Montembeault was making saves in relief. And then Bluger ruins that in the final minute because, from Aston Reese and Marino at 19:49. So Teddy Bluger with 2 goals and an assist. one of my favorite players. But again, in a 6-0 victory, I feel bad. Montreal's down to 4-13-2. They've won 4 out of 19 games. The Penguins 6-6-4. Montreal, this has got to be a historically bad record through the first 19 games of the season. Has to be. Bluger, Gensel, and Letang are your 3 stars. The shots 16-5 Pittsburgh in the first, 15-9 Pittsburgh in the second. And yes, Pittsburgh did lead in shots by the time the third was over, 12-10. Final shots 43-24 Pittsburgh. Power plays 1-for-1 for Pittsburgh, 0-for-1 for Montreal. Hits 29-12 for Montreal. Jari 24 saves for the shutout. Not that difficult. Primo saves 26 out of 31. Montembeault saves 11 out of 12. They need Allen back. They need Price back. But they got shut out. So even with Carey Price in there, you still likely get shut out. And I'm saying likely because I know a different goaltender can lead to a different result. But rough night. Next up, New Jersey in against Florida. And Florida showed how dangerous they are tonight. They didn't get off to a good start at all on any level. Except for one guy. Spencer Knight got off to a good start tonight. So it was Blackwood versus Knight. Knight's numbers were iffy coming into tonight overall for the season. Not so much now. Early chances for the Devils, and there it is. Knight's been sharp already. So Knight was being tested right out of the gate. Ekblad gets the first Panthers shot. There had already been 5 for New Jersey. So New Jersey came out looking for the steal right away. Keep in mind, New Jersey won this matchup 7-3 earlier this year. Devils get a power play. That doesn't succeed. Knight goes post to post on a save. Just some fantastic saves to leave the Devils looking skyward. Heischer's shot hits the side of the net. The shots are 14-6 for the Devils with 9 minutes left. And they pressed as well with 7 minutes left. And eventually they get a goal out of it. Hamilton scores from Vesey and Subban at 13:37. It's 1-0 New Jersey. And the rightful team is in the lead. However, those dastardly goals in the final waning seconds of a period. Verhaeghe scores from Uyghur at 19:53. That ties it at 1. And so for Florida, coming out of that first period, they had to feel kind of fortunate that it didn't end up being a New Jersey lead after the first, and that it wasn't by multiple goals, but Spencer Knight was fantastic. And in the second, things change. Zacha nearly scored in the first minute. Reinhardt had a chance that was saved, and then it's Luostarinen, who's got off to a very good start. This is his 6th. From Lomberg and Hornquist at 3:08. Then the Panthers score. Now, I'm going to explain this because I'm sure there are going to be people in the comments below saying that goal shouldn't have counted. I had a feeling that goal was going to count. Now, if they had said no, it was offside, I'm like, all right, fine. The reason that, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. The reason that I interpreted that goal counted is that they deemed that Huberdeau had control of the puck as he crossed the line. So he may have been ahead of the puck, but if they deem that you control the puck when you are ahead of it, then it doesn't count as being offside. So that was how I interpreted it, and they ruled that Huberdeau was onside. And that led to Mark Recchi, who's the assistant coach for the Devils, looking choked. The Devils were convinced this goal was going to come back. Huberdeau gets the goal from Duclair at 4:25. So instead of it being 2-1 on the offside goal being taken back, now it's 3-1, and Florida gets the power play. The Devils did kill off that power play, but you could see the momentum had shifted, and Florida takes advantage. It's Duclair from Huberdeau and Ekblad at 8:15. That makes it 4-1. And as soon as I saw that, I thought to myself, Knight's not allowing 3 goals. The Devils are done. So it's a tough break. I understand why they challenged. I also understand why the referees would say, no, we're going to allow that. And so, yeah, the debate is likely going to be on. So, again, just saying as an unbiased observer, I understood why they call it. And while they were debating it, because the announcers were like, well, clearly that's offside. I'm not sure what they're talking about. And I thought they're talking about whether or not they can deem that Huberdeau had control. And it's a very thin line there because he had just got that puck, and I would totally understand if they said he didn't really have control. So coming from an NFL fan that's seen long replays on whether or not a guy has control of a ball as he goes out of bounds, it's sort of the same thing here. Blackwood was out at that point. Bernier was in after 4-1. It was a mercy hook more than anything else. I really don't think that was reflective of the play of Blackwood. The Devils get a power play. That was a no. Late power play for the Panthers, which rolls over into the third. The Devils finish the kill, and the Panthers just kill off the game. The shots were 1-1 at 5 minutes. The Panthers looked completely different after the first period. The first period, they were all over the place. They were giving up the puck. The Devils were first to every puck. And after that, the Panthers went into their game, and they played really well. Luostarinen, their line pressed. The Devils pulled the goalie. Why not? It ends up being a 6-on-4. They're unsuccessful, but Florida doesn't hit the empty net either. Your final score is 4-1. With the win, Florida goes to 12-2-3. With the loss, the New Jersey Devils drop to 7-5-3. Your 3 stars are Knight, Huberdeau, and Duclair. Your shots 22-13 New Jersey in the first, 20-10 in the second in favor of Florida, 14-8 New Jersey in the third. Final shots 46-41 New Jersey. Very high opportunity game, a lot of shots. Power plays 0 for 3 for New Jersey, 0 for 2 for Florida. The hits 35-24 for Florida. Blackwood saves 23-27. Bernier saves all 14 shots in relief. And Knight saves 45 out of 46. Because sometimes Spencer Knight can be absolutely lights out. And as he gets older and gets more experience, that's likely going to happen more often. Now I need to change boards. All right. So, Philadelphia. A team that I said earlier today, I said they're pretty good, and they've played well. And I know their record hasn't necessarily reflected it the whole way, but they've played well. It was Vasilevsky versus Hart, and early on, the Flyers take the lead at home. Giroux scores from Atkinson and Brassard at 1:34. And so this is one of those early goals that can really change the feel of a game. Perry would try to answer. His tip goes wide. The Bolts did control after the Flyers scored. There was a press by Tampa at 7.5 minutes. But Cal Foote on a turnover with the 4th shot for the Flyers, it goes in the net. Konechny on that turnover, he doesn't make any mistake on that at 10:21. It's 2-0. Now, John Cooper left Cal Foote out there for the next shift, showing faith in his young defenseman. The Bolts press to answer. Hart makes the save. Palat tips one just wide, and in the last minute, the Bolts get a power play. So we go to the second period. The Flyers killed it off, but the Bolts get another power play, and they score on this one. It's Braden Point from Stamkos and Hedman at 1:51. That makes it 2-1. The Flyers press at 4.5 minutes. Sergachev with a nice soccer kick. Kicks one forward. I don't mind that at all. Vasilevsky off to a better start. And then Joseph scores to tie it from Killorn and Bogosian at 14:52. Bolts then get a power play. During that power play, Flyers don't let him set it up. Not even letting him set it up. There was a shorthanded chance. Sergachev defends that. It's all done. It's all finished. Vasilevsky breaks up a prime chance as well near his net. McDonough stops an Atkinson goal. So some very good defense by Tampa on plays where Philadelphia could have got the lead. Maybe Philadelphia should have got the lead. They didn't. Hart denies a point chance on a rush. Last minute, Couturier had a chance, was saved, and with 12.1 seconds left, the Flyers get a power play. To start the third, there was a set play by the Flyers that almost nets them the goal right away, keeping in mind they're still in the power play. Brassard had a tip that went high, and the rest of it's killed off. Then there's a power play for the Flyers yet again. It had some good cycles, some good chances, but it's killed off by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Colton had a net drive on a turnover. That was saved. Colton was robbed a lot tonight. Perry to McDonough. Hart makes the save on that. Stamkos, bad angle shot. But you know what? Just fire it at the net, and it went in. And it's too bad because up until then, Hart had a really good game going. And Stamkos with that goal from Hedman and Killorn at 18:04, it kind of takes the wind out of his sails, right? So they pulled the goalie immediately after. Colton was shot blocking as the Flyers press, and with 9 seconds left, it is Giroux. So one captain answers the other from Brassard at 19:51. Brassard has fit in so well with the Flyers. He has 2 assists tonight. So that ties it up. We go to overtime. Atkinson fires one wide. Couturier had a shot that was saved. Hedman with a break fires wide. Stamkos was denied. We end up going to a shootout. In the shootout, Braden Point nets the winner. Tampa Bay continues their point streak with this one. I think they're at a 9-game point streak now. They're 9-3-3. The Flyers, nothing to be ashamed of in a shootout loss against Tampa. They go to 8-4-3. Your 3 stars are Point, Vasilevsky, and Hart. The shots, 13-5 Tampa in the first, 13-9 Tampa in the second, 12-3 Philadelphia in the third, and then 4-3 Philadelphia in the overtime. Final shots 32-30 for Tampa. Power plays 1 for 3 for Tampa. 0 for 2 for Philly. Feels like I called more power plays than 2 for Philly, and the app was a little bit, well, off tonight, so we'll see. Hits 24-20 for Tampa. Vasilevsky saves 27 out of 30 at one end, and Carter Hart saves 29 out of 32 at the other end. This was a lot of fun, and I'm anxious to see this matchup again, because, yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. All right, next up, St. Louis. So this game, it didn't really have any feeling of doubt in it for most of it. It was Reimer versus Husso. Early Blues power play. We got Middleton against Bertuzzo in a fight as well. The shots were 4-0 for the Blues at 4.5 minutes, helped by the fact they had the early power play, but they came out with the edge. Husso saves a shot from Carlson. He saved the one after that as well. Saad then couldn't bury one. The Blues press at 7.5 minutes, and eventually they get themselves a power play. And they score on this one. Brandon Saad from O'Reilly and Perron at 10:25. The Sharks tried to answer. Thomas had a chance on a turnover. That was saved. Krug missed wide as the Blues pressed, but we go to the second period with the Blues up 1-0. They score early in the second. It's Thomas from Buchnevich and Perunovic at 1:35. That is Perunovic's first NHL point, I do believe, his family in attendance. The Blues then go to the power play. That did not succeed. Saad was robbed by Reimer. And then Dahlin. Yes, Dahlin scores his 7th from Meyer at 8:16. But it doesn't stay a one-goal game for long. St. Louis gets the 2-goal lead back, and it's Saad yet again from Sundqvist and Barbashev at 10:17. So 2 minutes and 1 second after San Jose made it 2-1, St. Louis comes back and scores and makes it 3-1. Perunovic was out there creating chances. They couldn't gush enough about how good he looked. And I hate to tell the AHL affiliate this. I don't think they're getting him back. I think Perunovic is in St. Louis to stay. Power play for the Blues. That's the kiss of death, right? He'll be down tomorrow. Power play for the Blues. That was a no. Sundqvist was denied right after. And then we go to the third, and at 1 minute and 9 seconds of the third, St. Louis gets that insurance goal. Kyrou scores from Perron, and that makes it 4-1. The Sharks did try to answer. They pressed. Meyer was denied during that. The shots were 5-4 for the Sharks with 8 minutes left. However, good pressure by St. Louis. They kept it in the other end a lot. And really, this game wasn't in any doubt. Tarasenko with a break. Ferraro actually defends that, so he can't get to the net. And did it without taking a penalty. We do get a power play for the Blues. It is unsuccessful. And that's the game. 4-1 for St. Louis. A big bounce back after a loss against Arizona. So 9-5-2 now is the record for St. Louis. For San Jose, they dropped to 8-7-1. And this is that drop-off that San Jose fans have likely been dreading. That it looks like that's where we're headed now, is that drop-off. And, of course, in the back of your mind, you might be thinking, you know, when the veterans were out in protocols, we did pretty well. Right. So the 3 stars, Saad, Husso, and Sundqvist. My point being that if this continues to slip, it is possible that Doug Wilson will look to make a move to bring one of those players back up. Might involve a trade. We'll see. Shots 16-13 for St. Louis in the first, 19-8 St. Louis in the second, and then 13-6 St. Louis in the third. Final shots 48-27 for St. Louis. Reimer was really under a lot of pressure all night. Power plays, San Jose didn't have any. St. Louis was 1 for 4 on what they had. The hits were 18-14 San Jose. Reimer saves 44 out of 48. Husso saves 26 out of 27. Nice return for Husso. Very good game. And, yeah, so we'll see how far San Jose drops before the GM makes some kind of a move. All right, next up. Well, so this happened. Now, this is on the heels of, you know, everything that the Vancouver goes through, and, of course, with Dallas. So it's Hudobin versus Talbot. Zuccarello draws an early wild power play, and that's when the little voice in my brain said, uh-oh. That's not great. Hartman had a shot that went up and out. That was killed off, but the shots are 4-0 for the Wild at 5 minutes. And when Dallas starts out slow, it usually doesn't bode well for them. Kaprizov hits the side of the net with the Wild pressuring. Lots of time in the Dallas zone. Lots of time to figure things out. They get a 2-on-1. Sturm's shot was saved, but they can't save them all. Pitlick scores from Duhaime and Spurgeon at 9:24. The Stars get a power play. No. And then Kaprizov scores from Zuccarello and Rask at 15:09. So it's 2-0 for Minnesota now. Hudobin then saves on Fiala, and the Wild's fourth line was generating opportunities, having a pretty good night for themselves, which, cool, great. 2-0 Minnesota after one. Second period. Wild chances, draw themselves a power play. Well, why not? Then you get a minute and 7 of 4-on-4. The Stars get a power play. Well, that's not going to work. So that's all killed off. The Stars get another power play. That leads to a shorthanded chance for Goligoski, which was saved, and that's killed off. The shots are 4-2 for the Stars at 12 minutes. But remember, Minnesota's up 2-0, so it can be a boring, low opportunity game as for all they care because they're up 2-0. The Wild press, they draw themselves a power play. Hintz had a shorthanded break, that was saved, and then Hartman, late in the period, scores from Goligoski and Fiala at 18:59. The Wild then get a late power play. That rolls over into the third period. The Stars did finish that off. They allowed one shot, and then Peterson scores to make things somewhat interesting at 3-1, right? From Sagan and Glendening at 3:50. The Stars get a power play. No. Goligoski scores from Eriksson and Greenway at 7:15 shortly after. That deflected off Gurianov. So that happened. And then Freddie Gaudreau scores from Kaprizov at 8:53 because why not? Things get kind of chippy. The Stars end up with a power play. Now, there was 1 second left in the power play the way they initially awarded the goal to Jamie Benn. That changed. It does not show as a power play goal on the app, nor does it show that Dallas had any power play goals. So this was scored as the power play had ended. Benn from Lindell and Gurianov at 12:38. That makes it a lot to 2. And then adding to their lot was Minnesota immediately thereafter. At 13:07, Zuccarello scores from Kaprizov and Goligoski because Dallas can't have nice things. And then at 13:52, Rask scores from Kaprizov and Zuccarello. Victor Rask once again owes like coffee to Kaprizov because Kaprizov gets him points. You know, he has the goal here, he has the assist here. You put them and Zuccarello together, and it works. It worked tonight. So that made it 7-2. There was another Stars power play. That was no. The Wild get a power play late. No. Final score 7-2. Wow. Dallas drops 2. Nope, that's wrong. That's wrong. I got to change that because I will not stand for that record being wrong. They do not have a positive record. They are 6-7-2, and Minnesota's 11-5. Can't stand for that. No. 3 Stars, Kaprizov, Zuccarello, and Goligoski. The shots 11 apiece in the first, 9-7 Minnesota in the second, 20-6 Dallas in the third. Final shots 38-26 for Dallas. Power plays 0 for 6 for Dallas, 0 for 4 for Minnesota. But notice Minnesota had 4 goals in the third. They only had 6 shots. So that happened. Hits were 11-9 for Minnesota, so nobody wanted to hurt themselves tonight. Hudobin saves 19 out of 26, not his proudest game. And Talbot saves 36 out of 38 at the other end and made it look relatively easy. So I don't know what Dallas does from here. I would say, I may have mumbled a couple of times during this game, should have played Ottinger. But that's me. You know, that's me saying maybe you should have played Ottinger. We'll see if Ottinger's in the next game or if Holtby's good to go the next game or what happens, but I don't know what Ottinger's problem is. All right, next up. Winnipeg and Edmonton. And this did feel like a playoff game, but there's a reason for that. These teams met in the playoffs. They don't like each other. They also met a couple of days ago. They didn't like each other then. They didn't like each other tonight. So it's Hellebuck versus Skinner. And it feels like this is one of those games that we could look back on and say, this was when Stuart Skinner really proved he's an NHL level goaltender. And that the Oilers' future in net's in pretty good hands. So, pressed by the Jets at 2.5 minutes. We then had Cassian fight Stanley. We end up with a 4-on-4 out of that. Scheifele had a rush chance. That was defended by Connor McDavid. Because Connor McDavid does play a 200-foot game. Anytime anybody says he doesn't, I think, so you don't watch him. Connor had a shot that was saved as the Jets pressed. There was a rush chance by Fogle that was saved. Warren Fogle had a very good game. 25.2 seconds left. The Oilers get a power play. There was a short-handed chance for Kopp that was saved and held, so it rolls over into the second period. The Jets would finish the penalty kill in that period. Power play then for the Jets, which led to a short-handed 2-on-1, which included Draisaitl. It doesn't go. Dubois net feed, that was cleared and is killed off. So that's the end of that power play. Another Oilers power play, and it felt like it was due for a goal. Jets killed it off. Team's very unfriendly with each other at this point. It's just, again, you can see that the residual resentment between the two after the playoffs is absolutely there. Another power play for the Jets. That does not succeed. And then Benson goes right back to the box right when he had come out of it. So Tyler Benson, back-to-back penalties. Short-handed chance for Draisaitl. It's killed off. Good news for Benson was there were no shots on that second power play for the Jets either. So no harm, no foul there. Harkins had a chance on a rush. That was saved. And we go to the third period, still scoreless. The Oilers had a press right away. McDavid tries beast mode to the net. It didn't work, but he would remember his mistake, and yeah, he doesn't make that mistake again. Post for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Fogle then fired one high shortly thereafter. Connor and Ehlers both had shots that were saved, as Skinner and Hellebuck had a one-upsmanship going on in the third period that was really fun to watch. The Jets controlled for a couple of shifts. Tony Nato had a shot deflected out. Draisaitl had a rush chance. That was saved by Hellebuck. And then Ehlers breaks the scoreless draw from Scheifele and Connor at 13:57. Crossbar and down. Nice goal. And so you're probably thinking, well, maybe Winnipeg's going to win this one. Not so fast. McDavid from Ceci and Keith 28 seconds later. And Ceci and Keith get the assists, but McDavid really put the team on his back. He went through, 3 Jets on that one? So it's like the Rangers goal. It's a cheat. McDavid's a cheat code. He is a cheat code. I'm not sure he only activates like once a game. You know how you'll have a buddy that you play NHL with, and there's a glitch goal or there's a play. You might have like Street Fighter back in the day where, okay, I'll fight you, but you can't do this move because you just spam that move and it makes it not fun to fight you. McDavid once a game seems to be allowed to have this move, and if people just let him do it all the time, he could have 20-30 points. It just feels like he wills it into the net. I can't talk it up enough. It's ridiculous. So when he did it, I said that was ridiculous. So last minute, Schmidt had a chance. It was saved with 43.6 seconds left. The Jets get a power play. Connor McDavid with a 4-minute high stick. In the overtime, the Jets control on the faceoff. Skinner denies Connor. There was a post for Pionk. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1. Nurse was denied. The power play's killed off. The Jets got 7 shots on that power play, and we go to a shootout. In the shootout, McDavid, because of course, and Kyle Turris get the goals to win it. So it's a shootout win for the Oilers. They go to 12-4. The Jets drop to 9-3-4 with the shootout loss. Your 3 stars are Skinner, Hellebuck, and McDavid. And those 3 players all had fantastic games. Shots were 17-11 Winnipeg in the first, 12-9 Winnipeg in the second, 11-10 Edmonton in the third, 8-1 for Winnipeg in the overtime because they spent most of the time on the power play. Final shots 47-32 for the Jets. Power plays, the Jets go 0 for 5 and Edmonton goes 0 for 2. Hits 39-17 for Edmonton. Hellebuck 31 saves on 32 shots. Skinner 46 saves on 47 shots. He sure looked like an NHL goalie tonight. And, we'll see how many more starts he's earned himself with a start like that. All right, let's go ahead and change boards. I'm just going to come out and say it. Arizona is a completely different team right now. The team that started off the season with nothing, there was no hope. Something has changed. Chychrun all of a sudden looks like Chychrun again. Keller looks engaged. Krause looks fantastic. Arizona's going to win their share of games. And for Columbus tonight, this almost became like the ultimate trap game, right? Because Arizona was coming off of their second win of the season, so, right? Merzlikins versus Wedgwood tonight. Early chances for Columbus. The Coyotes get a power play. They don't score on it. However, Dzingel scores from Galchenyuk and Capobianco at 5:59. So Galchenyuk's been on the board a couple of times now as a Coyote. The Coyotes then get a power play at the half. That was unsuccessful. Columbus gets a power play before the period is out, and they score on it. It's Jenner from Voracek and Werenski at 16:35. So it's 1-1. Second period, we get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Chychrun fires one high. Elvis was sharp so far when he was tested. Hayden couldn't elevate one. Kessel, he gets a goal. He scores at 16:29. So it took a while. It was almost a full period before we got another goal. Wouldn't be that long before the next. 22 seconds. Boone Jenner answers from Bjorkstrom. at 16:51. And then Danforth gets his first NHL goal, the 28-year-old rookie. He's too old to qualify for the Calder. From Gavrikov and Roslovic at 17:33. So that gives Columbus their first lead of the game. However, before the period's out, it's Lawson Krause from Boyd and Chychrun at 19:17. So there's Chychrun on the board with an assist, Krause with a goal. It's a 3-3 tie after 2. Third period, early press by Columbus. Fasching had a chance on a turnover. That was fired wide. Dzingel then fires one high. The Coyotes were pushing at that point. Texier on a 2-on-1. His shot was saved. Keller had one that was saved as well. The Coyotes don't look good. Then we got a fight between Dzingel and Sillinger. Sillinger's head hit the ice. And as soon as his head hit the ice, the linesman pulled him off. I think that Columbus was mad because Dzingel threw a punch or two after his head hit the ice. I hope Sillinger's okay, but that absolutely can concuss somebody. He was not wearing his helmet at the time. Power play for Columbus, that's killed off. Then we get a Coyotes power play around the halfway mark. That was also killed off. And then Danforth ends up hitting the post, so close to his second goal in the game. 6:30 left. Columbus gets a power play, and they score on this one. It's Werenski from Voracek and Bjorkstrand at 13:37. So, initially it was given to Jenner, which would have been a hat trick. That was changed during the game to Werenski. If it got changed back to Jenner, cool. Chychrun would answer from Keller and Lyubushkin at 14:18. Chychrun with a goal, Chychrun with an assist. He is starting to pick it up again. The Coyotes then pressed for the lead. They forced it into overtime. Overtime, the Coyotes controlled. Jenner had a break, and that was saved. Columbus controls on the next faceoff. Coyotes would then press, and then Jenner was denied again. So Boone Jenner's all over the ice. We go to a shootout in round 6. Round 6 or round 7? I think it was round 6. Chinakhov scores the winner. So it's not officially a goal for Chinakhov, but he gets the winner in the shootout. 5-4 is your score for Columbus. They go to 9-5 with this big scare out of the way. Arizona 2-13-2. So now they have 6 points on the season. Keep in mind the all-time low for points is 21. That should be absolutely reachable for them. The question, of course, being, can they get 8 wins? I'm going to go out on a limb and say yeah. The way they're playing right now, they looked good tonight. This wasn't just Columbus playing down to Arizona. Arizona had a really good game. The shots would tell you that too after the 3 stars who were Jenner, Chychrun, and Dzingel. Your shots 12-9 Columbus in the first, 15-11 Columbus in the second, 14-8 Columbus in the third, and then 4-1 Columbus in the overtime, but 16-11 in the second. Final shots 46-29 for Columbus. Your power plays 2-for-4 for Columbus, 0-for-3 for Arizona. So the special teams let Arizona down. Hits 18-16 for Arizona. Merzlikin saves 25 out of 29. Wedgwood saved 42 out of 46. A big part of the difference for Arizona right now is Wedgwood. Wedgwood's playing really well. He had a rough start to the season in New Jersey, but it works for him in Arizona. I don't know what it is, but it works. Next up, Vegas. This was very Vegas-like game in that they didn't start well, but they picked it up. So it was Grace versus Leonard. The shots were 3-1 for Vegas at the 5-minute mark. A puck crosses the net with the net knocked, or puck crosses the line with the net knocked off. They looked at it and they said, "Nah, it's not a goal." Wings were getting chances as the period went along. Leonard making some big saves. A really solid road period for the Wings. They were the better team after that first period. Second period, we get Ernie versus Hutton early. I don't know that I would have picked Ben Hutton and Adam Ernie to have a fight, but okay, that happened. And then Haig would open the scoring from Dodonov and Pietrangelo at 3:31. White Cloud doubles the lead from Stone and Howden at 5:56. And then Riley Smith tries to add another. But the answer is there. Giovanni Smith scores for Detroit from Larkin and Fabry at 10:19. But before Detroit can really get back into this and feel good about themselves, White Cloud scores the second of the game from Roy at 12:32, and it was a set play off of a faceoff. It deflected off of the back of DeKaiser. No chance for Grace on that one. And then in the last minute, welcome back Cotter. You score again from Kolasar at 19:06. It is 4-1 in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights after 2. And after what was a really good first period for Detroit, everything that could go wrong went wrong for them in the second. Third period, Nedeljkovic starts the third, And again, it's not that Grice played badly. It's just you might as well give him the third period off. Early press by Vegas. Howden had a chance on a turnover that was saved. Another Wings turnover then was bailed out by Nedeljkovic. The turnovers by Detroit, they were ending up in their net often. Third period, not as much. Stone rush chance was saved. It's all Vegas here. And then Riley Smith from Janmark and Lecision at 5:19. Beautiful stretch pass to Janmark by Lecision and then straight over to Smith. And nice goal there. Bertuzzi then nearly gets one. Grazes the crossbar on that one. Larkin with a shot that was saved. The rebound's cleared. And then Seider makes an exit. Looked like he hurt his ankle or his foot. That's not good news. If Moritz Seider ends up being injured for any period of time, that really hurts them. Leonard saves a Fabry chance. And then Veleno adds one late from Sam Gagner at 18:34. So Vegas wins this one 5-2. They go to 10-7 on the season. For Detroit, they fall to 8-9-2. So again, for Detroit, they now have a losing record. They've played more games than teams that are chasing them. And so this is kind of, and again, if Seider does end up being hurt for any period of time, it's just snowballing at this point. Your three stars are Whitecloud, Haig, and Leonard. The shots, 13-8 Detroit in the first, 14-8 Vegas in the second, and 10-7 Vegas in the third. Final shots, 32-28 for Vegas. Power plays, 0 for 1 for Detroit, 0 for 2 for Vegas. Both teams had 26 hits in this game. Grice saves 18 out of 22. Nedeljkovic saved 9 out of 10 in relief. And Leonard saves 26 out of 28. Another good game for Robin Leonard. And Vegas doing pretty well. So for Vegas, they're starting to look like they're ready to climb into the top 3 again in that division. And we'll see how that works. The Pacific's going to be a lot tougher, I guess, than any of us thought it would be. Speaking of which, take a look at the leaders who are at home against Carolina. So, Anaheim, there was discussion during this game. I was watching the Anaheim broadcast about how tired Anaheim's getting. They have played more games than anybody else in the West, and there is something to that, although Carolina is also a really good team, right? So it's Freddie Anderson versus John Gibson. Early chances for the Ducks. And then, against the flow of play, Ethan Bear gets a goal. His first as a Carolina Hurricane from Nachas at 4:44. And so, great start for the Ducks, and they're behind 1-0. The shots are 8-2 for the Ducks at 8 minutes. But then Troy Terry continues his amazing streak from Henrique and Getzlaff at 11:03. So there's point 1101 for Getzlaff. Good thing I did that 1,000-point video today. McTavish then with a net crash. Anderson makes the save during that rally. The Ducks had a rush chance. The Canes defended that pretty well. Niederreiter with a wraparound chance. That was saved. Both defenses doing pretty well in the first period, but it's 1-1. Second period. First minute, Fast had a shot that was saved. The Canes were getting chances on turnovers. You can't be making turnovers to Carolina. Ducks get a power play. That was unsuccessful. They get another power play, also unsuccessful, and that ends their power plays for the night. Svechnikov had a shot that deflected wide. Svech was in a hug fest with Manson as well. It becomes a 4-on-4. Svechnikov couldn't believe it. He went to the box. We hear about guys getting reputation calls. It feels like with Svechnikov, he gets penalties because he's Svechnikov sometimes. So it does feel like maybe he's got a bit of a reputation, and whether that's deserved or not, it's just something I've noticed with Carolina games, that he ends up in the box a lot more than you would think. So we then get a crossbar for D'Angelo. So that close to ending up in the net, but nope. So we go to the third with it still 1-1. Third period, Jarvis had a penalty shot early, and that was saved. And what was funny was that his teammates were kind of like patting him on the head, like, hey, you tried. And he was not happy. He wasn't having any of it. He didn't care if he's a rookie and it's his first time getting a penalty shot. He wanted that one to go in. So Martinook then fires one wide. Jarvis had a chance that was deflected out. Drysdale then defends a rush chance for Aho. The Ducks press, but they're kept to the outside. So when the Ducks got opportunities in this period, Carolina did a really good job of keeping them to the outside. It's what Slavin and Pesce do. Pesce back in this game. Just earlier today I was reading about there's no timeline on Pesce. He played tonight. Jarvis then scores at 9:34. It was good pressure by Carolina that leads to this goal to put them ahead in the game. The Ducks nearly answered on the next shift. Delorier had a shot, but it was impeded by Jacob Slavin, who again was doing a very good job tonight of playing net as well as defense and just slowing things down without taking a penalty. The impressive thing with Slavin is he doesn't take penalties, so he's able to play this well defensively without hooking and slashing and all of that wonderful stuff that often defensemen can get caught doing, trips and all that. It's impressive. It's not like he doesn't take penalties, but he's passive out there either. So Mahura was robbed by Anderson. Ducks were pressing for the tie. The Canes were holding on. Canes iced it with 2:17 left, or it looked like they had, and then it turned out they called it an intentional offside. So the face-off is just outside of their zone. They did not pull Gibson at this point. So the Ducks were trying to get Gibson out. They finally did with 1:42 left. And then there was an icing call in Carolina with 1:38 left. The Ducks debated about whether or not to call a timeout. They didn't. Natchez then misses an empty net. They also hit the post during this series of plays. But the Ducks ended up just running out of time. They just could not quite get it set up. They just couldn't get that really good opportunity. And so Carolina holds on and wins this one 2-1. They go to 13-2 on the season. For the Ducks, the 8-game winning streak is over. They lose. They go to 10-5-3. I thought they played well, though. And again, as this game went along, could you see that this team was maybe a little bit tired in Anaheim? Maybe. Also, Carolina's really good. So your 3 stars are Anderson, Gibson, and Zegras. And I was kind of surprised to see Zegras on there when Terry kept his point streak going. But hey, I didn't name the stars. Shots, 17-11 Anaheim in the first, 12-9 Carolina in the second, 8-6 Carolina in the third. Final shots, 32-31 for Anaheim. Power plays, Carolina goes 0 for 1, Anaheim goes 0 for 2. Hits 28-14 for Anaheim. Anderson saves 31 out of 32 at one end. Gibson saves 29 out of 31 at the other. Good goaltending duel. And a pretty solid game. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happen upon this video. And tomorrow night there's only 2 games and they're both on late. So nice quiet day for me tomorrow. Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.